Welcome back to the Birdhouse Dynasty Trade Show, live from sunny Bradenton, Sarasota, Florida, just 45 minutes south of Raymond James Stadium, home to the wonderful one and only Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Anyway, we are here doing the trade show because, well, it's just time to get one in. We've had a number of trades go down in my leagues lately, and so let's get right to it. We are going to start off with a deal from my Best Ball Mania League. That is a 12-team start 12 Superflex tight end premium, and this was a big boy deal. This had Boss acquiring Ladd McConkey, DJ Moore, 26th third and 409, giving Mojo Derrick Carr, 80 Mitchell, the 112, 26 first and second, and the 302. Wow, there's a lot to unravel here. Holy cow. Okay, so Boss on his side now. I know I've been hard on him lately, but actually, I like this deal. Yes, I like getting two solid veterans now. Ladd McConkey is a veteran, but very young. And I think that he may have hit his ceiling last year. However, I still like the deal. You're getting two solid point-producing veteran wide receivers in McConkey and DJ Moore, giving up really what amounts to the 112 and a 26 first, as well as you could toss in Carr and the 26 second, okay? So if you want to do the cross-off game here, we can cross off DJ Moore and the 112. All right, let's say that. Then you're looking at McConkey for just a bunch of stuff. I mean, the 26 first is nice, right? Derek Carr is, Derek Carr. He's nice in a super flex best ball format. Don't get me wrong. I love my quarterbacks in best ball. I don't mind getting the extra bodies. That's cool. Normally, I would favor the side with more pieces, but in this deal, I like Boss's side. All right. I know when you look at context, Mojo had a ton of wide receivers, so he had some to spare, but I don't know that I would have spared two of them, I guess, is what I'm getting at. So I love Boss's side. I don't mind Mojo's side. I see why he probably did it. He wanted to acquire pieces. And in that case, he definitely acquired some depth and some good pieces to boot. A 112, a 26 first and second aren't too shabby. If Boss's season falls apart, those 26 first and seconds could be looking very juicy. But I don't know if I'm just feeling competitive or what with the NCAA tournament going on. Just a wild shot there at the end of the Maryland game. Just happened now. But I am going with Boss's side on this one. Ladd's been tough to acquire, okay? So I want to bring up Ladd McConkey here. Let's do it this way. Just to see how good he really was last year. So Ladd finished wide receiver 12 in this format. He's roughly in that range, 12 or 13. Okay. And, he obviously established himself as Justin Herbert's number one wide receiver. Now, will the Chargers get another receiver? That's the question. And if we're asking that question, will that receiver actually hurt McConkey's target share? Like, let's say they bring in Matthew Golden at pick 22 or 23. Would that actually hurt McConkey's share? I don't think so. I think McConkey's still going to get his underneath shares. He's still going to get his intermediate route shares. So I think that, I don't want to say McConkey is draft proof, but he might be. I don't think that the Chargers are going to actually draft someone. The only guy that I think really could hurt him, and this is only off of the rapport that Herbert has with him, is if the Chargers were to bring back Keenan Allen and bring him into the mix. Like, that could, just because of the way Keenan Allen is and can dominate target shares, because he's such a good route runner, I think that I honestly, I think Keenan Allen's probably got 2 or 3 more years in him, but he could eat into McConkey. But I don't think many of the wide receivers, Ted McMillan, maybe Luther Burden could, the style of receiver he is. But I kind of think McConkey is matchup or draft pick proof, I want to say. That said, I don't know if he has a higher ceiling than what he did, but you know what? If the dude finishes wide receiver 12 every year, sign me up, right? I mean, how often did we say early in Mike Evans' career that we were a little disappointed because he wasn't finishing top 5 enough, okay? Or same with Keenan Allen, right? And then he started falling in drafts, and we were drafting them later in startups because they were too old when they were age 27 and 28. It was ridiculous. So I think that Ladd McConkey could end up falling into that zone, because he's not going to be somebody that puts up 1,500 yards and double-digit touchdowns every season. However, he's going to be latched to Justin Herbert, at least for the next 3 years, probably 4 years, because he was a first-round pick. So, and then a possible extension. So, I mean, to be latched onto Justin Herbert as his go-to guy is going to be solid for Ladd McConkey. He's the centerpiece of this deal. And so I like Foss's side on this deal. All right. There you go, Chad. You got one there. All right. Mojo, I don't hate it either for you, but I'm just favoring Foss on this one. Okay. Next up, let's see here. What are we going to do? Let's stay in the Best Ball Mania League. And we got another doozy in that one. So let's bring that up here. Yes. Right now, Best Ball Mania going crazy. Hergot getting into the swing of things, picking up his Detroit Lions, Sam LaPorta, and the 103, but had to give up Brock Bowers and the 406 for it. Okay, so this is a big boy. I'm going to take a peek at Havdi's roster here. I just want to see, because I don't hate it from Hergot's side. I'd love it getting LaPorta. But let's take a look quick here at... No, not what I wanted to do. Okay. Where is Havdi's team? Here we go. All right, so this is the squad that gets Brock Bowers. He is sitting on Mahomes, Pacheco, Cook, Ayuk, Ridley, Watson, Eckler, Chase Brown, Judy, Purdy, Young, Thielen, Quentin Johnson, now Bowers, a few open spots there, and he's got 4 draft picks. Okay. Well, it's hard to be against picking up Bowers here. Now, would he be better off getting, say, LaPorta and Ted McMillan? I think so. So I'm going to lean Hergot's side here just because it's best ball. Lineup league, I would lean Brock Bowers, but best ball, I'm going to lean Hergot here. He acquired LaPorta and the 103, both startable assets. LaPorta could get into a starting lineup very often this year. Maybe not quite as often as Bowers, but I mean, LaPorta is at least top 5 dynasty tight end, if not, the second, if not the tight end 2, probably behind McBride. Okay, so he's tight end 3. I don't think he's quite getting the volume that Trey McBride gets, so that's where he's kind of a distant third. But yeah, I'm going to lean Hergott's side. Don't hate it, though, from Hovde's side. I just wonder if there was a better way for his team. I think the 103 would have probably been better used splitting in this case to try and acquire 2 firsts. That's my personal take on this deal. I think if I were Hovde, that's what I've been looking to do with the 103. Rather than shooting it all on Brock Bowers. Okay. Next up, we are going to keep rolling here. We've been talking first round picks, big premium assets here. Let's break it down, actually, because this was an interesting. I just want to go a little deeper before I move on. So, Brock Bowers. Now, of course, we don't know that Bowers can replicate what he did last season, but let's just look here. Double digits he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 of 18 weeks. We all know week 18 wasn't part of this season, but okay, so 13 of 18 weeks. Meanwhile, Sam LaPorta, Hergott's guy here, didn't hurt that he's a Lions fan, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do, right? Okay. Let's see here. Okay. Sam LaPorta, how many double-digit weeks? Because we know LaPorta definitely struggled last year versus his rookie season. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there you have it. I mean, and he finished tight end 7. All right. So that's where I'm going to, again, lean the LaPorta and 103 side here because it's best ball. All right. LaPorta had double-digit weeks 10 out of 18 times, and Bowers did it 13 of 18 times. Now, Bowers had a couple of bigger blow-up weeks, but there's nothing to say that LaPorta couldn't come back with a couple more blow-up weeks this next season, and Bowers slides back down. I don't know. I think Geno Smith should be a good fit for Bowers, and he should continue to produce well. So, again, it's hard to say that I hate that side. I'm favoring the LaPorta 103 side. All right. So let's stick with the theme of the elite players and the first round picks if we can. I know we've got one down here. Yeah, let's go to that one first. So this one features LaPorta as well, and this one was from Steve S. It had to do actually with his roster review team. This was a deal that he went ahead and got done not much longer after we told him or gave him some suggestions to do. And now I'm having trouble scrolling through there. Okay. Let's do this. Okay. I'm going to have to swap out of sleeper and go back in here a second. Give me a minute here. So how's everybody doing out there in the chat? You guys watching some basketball? Or are you just glued into the NFL Network, huh? I am watching both. Kentucky stayed alive. That's all I needed to know today. That's a team I riding in my, I guess in my main pool. I filled out probably 35 brackets, so it really doesn't matter. But yeah, I want to see Kentucky take it down. All right. So we're going to the not first year last league. Again, this is the league that Steve S. had us do a roster review for, and he did a deal involving Sam LaPorta as well. Now, he had Sam LaPorta in this league, and he was pretty stacked at the tight end position. So he also had Mark Andrews. There we go. There it is for everybody. Okay, so he also had Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely. So we told him maybe try and split up your tight end room there. You don't need all those tight ends every week. So he went ahead and got rid of Sam LaPorta in the 27 fourth, acquired Marvin Mims 306 and Foss's 27 first. So don't love it. But at the same time, because it's Foss's, I don't hate it. Foss is real wild. He could have a bad 26 season. Maybe he'll win it all in 26. I don't know yet. But the thought process there was to acquire more first rounders. Steve is not going to be contending this year. I know it's only a 10-team start 12 best ball format, so you don't really want to be giving up on the season. But his team as is was not going to be contending this year. Put it that way. He just didn't have enough firepower. So went ahead and did this deal. I don't hate it. He's still good at the tight end position. Mark Andrews probably still score somewhat close to Sam LaPorta week in and week out. He may not overall score as much in the tight end position because, some weeks that Andrews won't score, LaPorta would. But the thing is that they're always not going to do that on the same weeks. So they could both fail in one week and they could both hit in another week. It's not like you could say, okay, LaPorta, you score in this week, and Andrews, you score in this week. No, it's not how it works. But at the same time, I think he's moving his value into the right places, in this case, into more draft capital. So I like it from his end. Definitely don't hate it at all from Foss's side. Like, he's getting Sam LaPorta, a pretty blue chip tight end, right, for a 27 first. That's 2 years down the road. He could easily acquire back 27 first if you'd like to. All right. So yes, I don't hate it at all. All right. And then we're going to follow it up right away with the deal that Steve made a day or two later. And that would be where he has CJ Stroud and Jordan Love on this squad, and as well as Bryce Young. And we told him, you don't need all three of those quarterbacks. Which one do you think you could deal? And or which one would be more easy to acquire some stack options? And, looking at it, Jordan Love versus CJ Stroud, pretty similar in dynasty value. The difference is CJ Stroud at one time was a top 5 quarterback value-wise. So he has probably more likely the ability to get back up to that level, whereas Jordan Love hasn't quite been rated that high yet. So I don't know that he can ever get up to that level without the rushing upside. Some of the other dudes that are up there in the elite tier of quarterbacks. So Jordan Love's kind of in the middle there. So I think he's looking to maybe try and trade Jordan Love between him and CJ Stroud. So he went after Nico Collins, and this is the way to do it. He gave up Jonathan Taylor and Zay Flowers. Perfect. I love it. Getting the 309 thrown on top is just gravy. And then on the same other side of it, I really like this deal for Mojo as well. So this was definitely a win-win for both teams. Steve S. got what he was looking for to build a contender for the 2026 season. he got his prized stack position. Now he's making CJ Stroud more valuable to his roster. Okay, so you have to understand CJ Stroud, yes, he has a value, right? You can use Keep Trade Cut or whatever DLF, whatever value calculator you're using, he has a value. But in a best ball format, when you stack on his most valuable wide receiver, you bring up the floors of both of their values just a little bit, because in weeks where Nico Collins blows up, well, it's very likely that CJ Stroud's going to blow up too. And they're both going to have good weeks, and you're more likely to win the game versus having CJ Stroud and CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb has a big game there. CeeDee Lamb has a big game. CJ Stroud has a down game. You're stuck in the middle, and then you'd be more likely to lose. Okay, so now you're going to have both of them scoring elite, and they're two very good assets. They're more likely to do that more often than not, as in more than half of the weeks of the season. So 9 to 10 weeks out of the season, you're going to have both of them performing. All right. This is the case where, it's not great to be stacking like Derrick, Carr, and whoever. Now it's not terrible. Don't get me wrong, but you don't want like Derrick Carr as your number 2 quarterback. Okay. And then stacking him with Bub Means. That's not what I'm talking about. Okay. If you're going to stack Derrick Carr, you got to do it with Olave or Rashid Shaheed. You can't be stacking guys with their bottom end. You can't be stacking third string quarterbacks and having to rely on them with their third string wideout. Okay. You can, as long as you're picking them super late, but it's generally not. It's a cheap stack, but it's not really winning you anything extra, put it that way. When you're doing it with elite players like Burrow, Chase, okay, even Burrow, Higgins, CD and Dak, Hurts and AJ Brown, okay, those type of stacks, those are the ones that can win you a league, all right? Because they can go on a tear for 3 to 4 straight weeks in a row. Derek Carr to Bub Means is not going to happen 3 or 4 weeks in a row. It could happen once, maybe 2 weeks in a row, but that's it, okay? If you start depending on that, that's where you're going to get burned. All right. So that was my little rant about stacks, but I'm sure I'll get into that at some point this offseason. Just not today. All right. So next up, we are going to continue to stay on the elite players and elite draft picks. So let's move on to one more I wanted to hit up before we get into grinding it out for second rounders and veterans. Okay. Yes, there it is. All right. Got to go to my Cannonball League. All right. Let's hit that one up. Cannonball is a 12-team start 10 Superflex tight end premium league. And it's been around for a couple of years. So it's gotten, I don't want to say top heavy, but the contenders and the pretenders have sort of distanced themselves. Now, For the Brand is working. That's Brandon. He's trying to work his way back into. Let me see. I think he try and remember who won it last year in this league. Yes, I won this league. Okay, I was thinking of another league where Brandon won it. Okay, so Brandon won this league I won this league last year, but Brandon had a good solid team. And so he wanted to go out and get Khalil Shakir. And essentially, so he got Khalil Shakir and let's go Brandon's 26 first. Don't confuse that with another Brandon. That actually is Rob C. And so Rob C acquired the 201 and a 27 first. I see this deal as pretty much breaking even. Straight up, I don't know if Khalil Shakir is worth the 201 quite yet. He's worth 205-ish to mid to late first, I guess, is what I'd give up for him. Now, if you're not trying to trade him, yeah, you'd probably want an early first. Okay. But Alan, what's up? You're in the birdhouse. Yes. And Chad, there he is. Big winner tonight. And some of the deals for once, boss. Yes. All right. So back to the deal here. Shakir in the 26 first. I like the Brandon side, actually, because he's getting the 26 first versus the 27 first. I know that a lot of people are trying to stack up their 27 firsts because everybody's going to draft Jeremiah Smith, right? All first rounders in 27, you're going to get Jeremiah Smith with, right? No. Fact is, only one of you in each league is going to get Jeremiah Smith, okay? But the other guy might get Arch Manning. Just saying, okay? Anyway, Arch is probably not going to be in that 26 draft. Hell, I don't even know who is the top player yet in the 26 draft, but I'll tell you this much. I did not expect Ashton Genty to be the top player in the 25 draft at this point last year. At this point last year, we still had we still had Travion Henderson probably as the number one running back. So there you have it. Now we have 5 studs, right? So lot can happen. And yes, Matt English, stock up on the future draft picks. Absolutely. This is the time to buy. I might have to do a whole show on it, but this is the time to buy 26 and 27 first right now. Fever is getting high on the 25 first round picks. If you're in, this is where you have to look at your rosters and your roster construction. If you don't have enough room for the current amount of draft picks that you have on your roster, you should be trying to kick those picks forward. I'm saying 205, 206, 207, 208, and beyond. Kick it forward for a 26 second. Same with a third rounder. You have the 30 whatever. You kick it forward for a 26 or 27 third, right? You don't have to get too petty about it. Or, yes, you could wait till it's on the clock, and then you may be able to milk a little bit more, but kind of depends your risk tolerance, okay? For one, I kind of like just getting it done. All right. I have been there, done it, the grinding. Yeah, you can milk every little penny out of a deal if you want, but I also like to have the liquidity and the ability of knowing where I stand going into the draft. And so that's where my mindset's kind of gone lately. There's certain leagues where I know that I can do more with a draft pick where maybe the league mates are a little more willing to throw more money at you, more draft capital at you if you trade the pick that's sitting on the clock. So there may be certain leagues where I would do that versus others. I'll say that. So know your leagues. If you are in a league that doesn't trade much during the draft, then you might want to consider starting to push for that right now. But again, it comes down to your roster construction. Don't own more draft picks than you're actually going to be able to roster, where you got to start cutting 4 or 5 dudes on your team that you actually want. Like, it depends on how good your players are at the bottom of your bench, but I always like to have 2 or 3 spots at the bottom of my bench that I could churn and burn during the season. I don't want to have too many good guys at the bottom of my bench where I don't want to cut them, because there's going to be guys that come out of nowhere that are on waivers every week that I want a shot at. Okay. So, the Von Vele's of the world, right? You want to have a shot at them. I'm just saying, some years Devon Vele turns into Puka Nacua. Other years he just turns into Devon Vele. Okay. So that's my point. You want to have your shots at those guys, because every once in a while it does happen. It does hit. Anquan Bolden was one of those dudes. Had a Hall of Fame career. I don't know if he's in the Hall of Fame yet, but he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. on that point, we will move on to another player who got, let's see here. Well, we're right here. We might as well do the other deal that happened right here in the Cannonball League. That can be quick. And this gets more into the second rounders for veteran picks. And this is Najee Harris going for the 204. This is a kind of, okay, I don't want to overpay for Najee, but if I want Najee, that's the kind of pick I'd be giving up for him, okay? Start anywhere in the second round. I don't know about an early second. 204 is more mid, all right? But, yeah, I don't want to be giving up like a top 13 pick for Najee Harris, put it that way. I kind of have a line right there. Players 14 and 15 for me right now are like Trey Harris and Matthew Golden. I would rather have them ever so slightly than Najee Harris, but team build wise, I could understand wanting Najee instead. So you could go, I guess, saying that you could go as high as the 202 or 203, but I don't know. Personally, I'd rather have Trey Harris or Matthew Golden than Najee Harris. All right. But I'll take Najee over the next guys. I'll put it that way. All right. So that kicks us off into our veterans for second rounders section. And so started off with Najee there. And next up, I want to do, yes, let me do the last man standing league. We'll go back into that league here real quick. There it is. Okay, so this one I did, and I love it. And there it is. It's Tank Bigsby for the 209. Now, this is a matter of you look at keep trade cut, and sometimes dudes are overvalued. That's where I see Tank Bigsby. Now, maybe he's a big believer in Tank Bigsby becoming Liam Cohen's Bucky Irving in Jacksonville. And so he's a believer. I had too many players that were decent, and I wanted to get rid of Bigsby. So, I mean, I had a bunch of running backs on this team, and I just, I wanted to get some draft capital. It's more fluid, okay? So this is an example. If you've got Tank Bigsby, Zach Charbonnet, Kendre Miller, any of those dudes from the 23 class, second round guys or second round rookie pick running backs. Remember, that was the Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs class. Well, those second and third round rookie running backs from that year didn't turn out too hot, did they? Right? They're still kind of relevant, and there may be still some believers in your league, but I even think Matt English is off the Kendre Miller train at this point. It's left the building. It's gone. Go get anything for them now, okay? I know Zach Charbonnet. Maybe in some world you tell yourself the story that Kenneth Walker is getting traded to the Raiders, and so Zach Charbonnet is going to win. Okay, fine. I don't know that I'm paying a second rounder for Zach Charbonnet, okay? If you can get him for a third and you've got extra thirds to throw away, fine. Go ahead and do it. But I'm not paying more than that for those dudes that have proven nothing. Zach Charbonnet, sure, he's looked good in Kenneth Walker's absence, but so did Tank Bigsby in ETN's absence, all right? So that's my point. Like, a lot of dudes look good when the main guy is down. That doesn't mean that they're worth a second rounder. I think Jordan Mason. Are you paying a second rounder for Jordan Mason right now? Because if you are, tell me. I will sell him to you immediately. Okay. Next up, I want to go over, let's see. Yeah, let me get you some more veteran deals. Here's two big ones. I'm going to go into my Turtle League. This is a great deal. Okay. This will spark a little discussion here. Ugh, where did it go? All right. We're back out here. I got to find that league. Sleeper is goofy sometimes on this laptop. I am telling you, it is not fun always. Here we go. All right. Let me get the trade up. I'll show it to you folks. So how is everybody's bracket doing? Anybody busted completely? Is your champ out? Did you actually take the Johnnies? That was a tough matchup they had coming up. Whether it was Patino, I mean, whether it was Calipari or who was the other? Arkansas beat Kansas, Bill Self. It was going to be a tough matchup that second round, man. There it is. Chomp, chomp away, English. Yes, your Gators look strong this year. I am not going to deny that. All right. Here we go. Let's get back into the trades. Here we go. Yes. All right. Here is a nice, solid veteran deal going both ways. We've got some Sam Darnold action with Mike Evans and a 26th third going over to Kyle. And in return, Boss gets Davante Adams, King Henry, and Daniel Jones, the new Colts backup / starting quarterback. He will battle it out with Anthony Richardson in camp. We'll see who wins it out, right? I would say you could cross off Daniel Jones for the 26th third. Sure. King Henry for Sam Darnold. Sure. Davante Adams for Mike Evans. Sure. There we go. Boom, boom, boom. Even deal across the way. I think that, this is a roster construction type deal. Maybe Kyle was a little heavy on players, and so he needed to dwindle down one player, and he maneuvered at the quarterback position from Daniel Jones up to Sam Darnold. I don't know if I want to do this that way because he probably hindered some point production in losing King Henry. So that definitely hurts his contending window. So on Boss's side, I like that aspect of it. All right. But otherwise, I mean, value-wise, it's an even deal. I just think that, sure, Sam Darnold has a little more security than Daniel Jones, or definitely more security than Daniel Jones. All right. But I do think Daniel Jones is going to get his shot there in Indy, and probably I'd say it's 50-50 who starts more games this year, Daniel Jones or Anthony Richardson. Honestly, I don't know. Unless this magician that taught Josh Allen how to throw the ball is working the same kind of voodoo with Anthony Richardson, we'll see. It's possible. But all right, there you have it, Boss. I am leaning your way again. Boss must be watching a lot of my show. Jeez. All right. Let's see here. Next up. That was a great deal. Love seeing those veteran action deals going on. Okay, now this one. I've got two good deals in my Lemme's Dynasty League. All right. First off, I want to do the easier one, and that one is, here we go, straight up, DK for the 109. Boom, done. That's what his value is. You want to pay for it, go ahead. Brandon asked me about this deal before he actually did it. I said this is maybe a situation where he's got a young team. It's building on its way up. I said maybe this is a deal where you want to hang on to the 109. Don't get ahead of your skis here. Maybe draft a decent receiver with the 109. And then if you're actually contending next season in the 2025 season, then you could use your 26 first to go and grab a guy like DK mid-season. That's what I looked at it like. He was looking at it more like he needed DK to be contending. I don't know if that's going to work out for him. We'll see. I don't hate it because as long as DK is performing this year, he should be able to get a late first potentially for him. Now, if DK isn't doing so well, it's going to be hard to get a first, though. So that's the only downside to it. But DK's locked in with a big contract. Wouldn't be shocked if Pickens is shipped out of town before the season starts. So DK is going to get targets. If Aaron Rodgers does sign in Pittsburgh, you could actually look for DK to have a career season, literally. With Pickens as the other receiver, that dude's not a possession receiver. It's going to be DK. And Rodgers is going to lock into one of the guys. DK actually, if you compare him to George Pickens' route tree, DK is like fucking Keenan Allen, okay? So DK is a little better at running routes now than he was when he was a rookie. We'll just say that. I am not saying he's even as good as his old teammate Tyler Lockett, okay? But DK's gotten a little better as far as his route tree goes. So if, and this is a big if right now, if Aaron Rodgers does go to Pittsburgh, you could see a monster year from DK, at least for 1 year. So I understand where Brandon was coming from. I don't hate it. I'm just saying sometimes you're in a house money type season. Like, he's got a real young team that's up and coming. He didn't need to push in for a 27 going to be 28-year-old wide receiver. Like, he could have just drafted him with Buka and got, maybe even a similar to even possibly better season from, right? So that's all I'm saying. Watch yourself. I love DK, don't get me wrong. And there's certain teams where, sure, I'd give up the 109 for him. But there's other teams where, if I'm off of a rebuild, I am going to hold back off of that. And I guess maybe that's the benefit of playing in multiple leagues, so I don't have to go in. And that's why I do it, why I play multiple leagues, so I don't have to make a deal like this to go get a guy that I love. Because, if you're doing the right roster construction, you can pretty much grab any of your favorite players and you can find a way to win around them. All right. That's one way I've learned. And you can figure out a way to win. You can stick any one player on your roster pretty much and find a way to win around them. Okay. So that was a deal for DK. Very fair both ways. The other deal in the Lemmy's league had a little more piece, one more piece to it, and deserves some airtime. Gosh, where is that deal? There it is. Okay. So this one is quite polarizing because we've got two very polarizing quarterbacks here. One in Kyler Murray, the other in Tua Tagovailoa. And so Tua amazingly did not have a concussion somehow last year. Now, I have not forgotten about the concussion issue. So that said, I'm going to lean the Kyler side because Kyler, with his wheels, still has the potential to have, a top 5, top 6, 7, 8 quarterback season. Tua, on the other hand, as great as a real life accurate quarterback he is, he does not have the ability to finish top 5. I'm sorry. We've seen the best out of him with Tyreek and Waddle, right? He could get a receiver to replace. They could draft Ted McMillan this year, and Tua is not going to finish top 5. All right. So that's my point. That's where I am leaning. Kyler, I don't know that you would have been able to tier up any higher than Tua and the Tua with the Tua and the 202. I don't know that you could have gotten any higher. Like, I don't know that you could get to Justin Herbert with Tua and the 202. I don't know that you could get to I don't even know if you could get CJ Stroud for that. And that's one more where I would lean Tua in the 202. I don't know that I'm trying to think of that tier below the quarterback tier below the elite, but let me think. Well, I think you guys understand. I'm saying 2 on the 202 can only get you so far. And if it gets you Kyler Murray, I like that. So I like the Mr. DI6 side of it. Lake, I think, was, just looking to acquire some extra draft capital. I don't know that he's got Waddle in this league. I kind of was surprised that Lake made this deal, but Lake likes to wheel and deal and get those extra pieces. So I'm leaning Mr. DI6 on this one. All right. Next up, we've got, that's Kyler. Okay. We had, okay. Now's where we get to the veterans for second round picks. And these are important right now because a lot of these are best ball leagues. And in best ball, best ball, everybody plays every week, right? It's not just a lineup league. So these secondary players, good players on your bench, even the shit players on your bench, they get into your lineups. All right. So we're going to start it off with, we're going to go to the Crash and Smash League. Yes. I know Matt English is sitting there waiting for his trade to get up here. So we're going to appease that here. Okay. Sorry, I got to bring it back up again here this way. Okay. Okay, almost there, guys. Here we go. Now, we got Matt English and Crackhor making a deal here. This is Matty getting this is a start 12 best ball league. There is 3 IDPs, but main thing is it's start 12. And he's getting the 203, getting rid of Xavier, Legette, and Kimani Vidal. Kimani Vidal is going down the same path that Kendry Miller and Zach Charbonnet and I think Bigsby are, right? And I don't even know if he's that good. So I love this deal for Matt English. Don't hate it, I guess, for Crackhor. I think I just wouldn't be paying the 203 for Xavier Legette. That's where I'm getting at here. So if you can do that and get yourself a second rounder, absolutely jump on that. I would get off of the Xavier Legette train ASAP. Next up, another deal in this league. Now, this is one I pulled off, and I'm not doing this one to show off. I didn't screw over Havdi here. All right, Ryan, I'm not messing with you. But I landed a 27 second. I got Michael Pittman off my roster. Whew, don't have to deal with it. Now, Michael Pittman gets traded tomorrow to the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm going to be pissed. But that's what risks you take. I was more than happy to land a 27 second. We were going back and forth. He kept offering me a third. I wanted a second. Finally, I pushed all the way out to 27, and I got the second rounder. So that was what I was accomplishing. I wasn't trying to get a pick this year because, again, roster construction-wise, I had too many picks along with bottom end guys that I actually liked and didn't want to cut. So I had to kick. This is a way that I was able to kick the pick out to the future. I actually got rid of 2 roster positions for this upcoming season in Pittman and whoever I would have taken at the 509 for a future second rounder that I can use any which way I want. I don't know that I'll even end up drafting it. I could use it in a deal. Who knows? It's 2 years away. But now I don't have to look at Michael Pittman and his sad 4 for 30 7 or 8 times this year because Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones both suck throwing the football. So that's where I'm at there. All right. Then they both get hurt and bring Joe Flacco in, and Michael Pittman blows up. And it all blows up in my face. But I'm going to bet against that, which is what I did. All right. Then in the Birdhouse leagues, yes, we've got 2 deals in the Birdhouse 2. A couple of nice veteran deals here just to show you where guys' values are at. Before we get out of here, I got rid of DeAndre Hopkins for the 402. Foss Boss wanted DeAndre. Fine with me. He's in Baltimore now in that mix. Sure, he'll get into the lineup once or twice. And Brian Robinson for the 210. I wanted to get out on Brain Rob before the NFL draft hits and Washington grabs a running back. Any running back they grab in the top 3 or 4 rounds is probably more talented than Brian Robinson. So that's the scary thing there. And it could happen to you with a number of running backs. Travis Etienne, Ramondre Stevenson. Those are just 2 big examples right off the top of my head. DeAndre Swift, all those guys, it could happen to. So I would definitely try and get second rounders for them if you can, especially in a best ball format. Okay. Lineup league, I can understand maybe being a little shaky about a rookie. But I'm telling you right now, Travion Henderson goes to any of those teams, he's the better back. Quinshon Judkins goes to any of those teams, he's the top back in the running back room. So just be realistic with your guys. If you've got running backs that are basically getting points based off of volume and not talent, they could very well get trumped this year. Okay. And what else? Other than that, I just got one other deal. I did it in a single quarterback league. It was a 16-team league. I just completed it. I got the 308 for Jameis Winston, who just signed with the New York Giants, and it's going to be slinging it when he gets into Malik Neighbors this year. Should be a fun time for Giants fans, even if they go 3-14 and get the number 1 pick. At least they can have fun doing it because they got J-Mo now. So, yeah. And I don't hate it for the other guy. I just did it because I'm not going to be contending this year. I wanted the points off my roster. Jameis Winston, he played 7 weeks last year. 4 of those weeks, he finished as a QB 12 or higher, one of which was against that dominant Denver secondary and finished QB 1. Now, that was, that game plan was out of this world. They just said, screw it. We're going to go strength on strength. Jameis just throw it right into the teeth of that defense. They threw it like 50 times against the Denver defense. It was insane. But I'll tell you this much, made Jerry Jeudy relevant the rest of the season, made Cedric Tillman relevant for a few weeks there, made Elijah Moore starter worthy, at least in deep leagues. All right for best ball. But the point being, if Winston's in there, Neighbors is going to get like 175 targets this year. Okay. I don't know which way New York's going to go, if they're going to grab a quarterback, either Cam Ward or Shaheed Sanders in the first round. If they wait till the second or later for a quarterback, then you could see Jameis playing a lot more this year. That is exciting for us. So go out there. If you're contending, got extra thirds or fourth, throw them at Jameis Winston. Go get him. I'm telling you, it is exciting having Jameis. You have to play him. If he's starting, you have to play him. Just the way it is. You got to play him. High risk, high reward, guys. So that's all I've got for you tonight. Be sure to check out the Mock Draft Monday. We should be getting into, hopefully tomorrow night. The Birdhouse, I'm on vacation right now, so it's family first, but you're my second family out here. So trying to help you out. If we don't get it tomorrow night, we'll do a mock draft Monday on Tuesday. Same difference, right? Still a mock draft. All right. But any questions, just leave them down in the comments. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe. Help the Birdhouse community grow and grow and grow. We are moving. We're almost to 100 subscribers. Again, the 100th subscriber, if you are, you will get a free roster review. from Maddie and I. All right. So thanks again for joining tonight. Love you all. Don't stop working.